world where nostalgia rages across the land, where everyone and their mother has a podcast, where there's still a movie trailer guy who says, in a world. Three friends revisit films, shows, and games that molded them as they search for answers to life, the universe, and everything in between. Settle in and join us for Screen Refresh.
Welcome back to Screen Refresh, a show where we revisit the films, shows, and games that molded us as we search for answers to life, the universe, and everything in between. I'm your host, Nick, and I'm joined by my fellow Screen Refresh crew, Dean, David, and Tim.
Our lives are in your hands, and you've got butterfingers?
Hold on to your butts.
Shoot her!
Today we'll be discussing Jurassic Park.
I didn't have a second quote in mind, so if Dave ended up taking Shooter, I would have just been like, hello there.
I was kind of glad that Nick was introducing this one because I'm pretty sure he would default to hold on to your butts. So,
Well, I would have followed up. It's like I'm totally unappreciated in my time. Yeah, you know anyone else that
Didn't say
can
the magic word.
debug 15? I know the line.
I was gonna say I had hold on to your butts and must go fast or must go faster.
You can find somebody to debug 2 million lines of code for what I bid for this job?
I'd like to see you try. I'm sorry about your financial problems, Dennis. I really am, but they are your problems. Oh, you're right, John. You're absolutely right. Everything's my problem. I don't blame people for the mistakes, but I do ask that they pay for them.
Thanks, Dad.
Dennis.
The secret underlying plot that he is actually Dennis's father. It makes that relationship way more believable.
Was that his dad? He didn't seem to like him very much.
Classic dad.
At
And
the
now
start
commence
of
the Screen Refresh Jurassic Park script read-through.
By
from
memory.
Yeah, at the start of the show before we recorded, well, a few of us admitted, normally we watch the movie before obviously doing these episodes, and this is one of the few where we did not. This movie is so ingrained into my personality and just overall life that I really felt like I didn't need to watch it again because I truly feel like I can do this entire movie from memory without needing to watch it. So I feel safe in that regard.
Yeah. I mean, plus just the fact that
Ditto.
I feel like there's so many things from Jurassic Park that leaked into cultural zeitgeist from during our growing up that it's like, I could also probably not see Jurassic Park and still know a third of the movie from other scenes that reference Jurassic Park.
Shout out to Animaniacs.
I still took additional notes only because I was hosting and I needed stuff. But it's not the typical kind of notes that I would take for taking a movie in that regard. And we're also not going to do the normal play-by-play, so this is a little bit of uncharted territory for all of us. So listeners, bear with us as we explore new ground in a different kind of format. Because none of us know what we're doing, so we're just going to go through the from the hip. So
Yeah, we really wanted to
do our
pick a
best.
throwaway movie to change the whole format on.
Yeah. Well, last time we did something like this, it was with Hook, and it was also a childhood favorite for all of us, so it wasn't
Yeah.
too big of an issue. So this should be easier.
Peter, he's doing it, Peter.
I hated Hook. What are you?
Get in the boo box.
God damn it. The boo box. No.
That's one big pile of shit.
Get in the boo box, Jet Li.
So I wanted to ask the group question. So before we even get into the movie, really, did anyone read the book? And if so, was anyone like Michael Crichton fans?
Well, that's actually a good question.
Yes, to those questions. It's been a long time.
Yeah, likewise. I actually try to read it once a year, and though I haven't read the book as nearly as many times as watching the movie, because the movie's a lot easier to digest in 2 hours versus having an audiobook going on in the background, but I have read it multiple times and listened to it multiple times through audiobook too.
I turned into a Michael Crichton fan after I read Jurassic Park first, and then I just had to read the rest of his books and enjoyed most of them.
I
Yeah, I
have
did
looked
too.
at the cover of Jurassic Park many times when visiting Nick over the years. I've never cracked the cover, but I know that there's stuff that happens in it that is different from the film.
It's a horror book.
I feel like you should get. I mean, you should get into Crichton. Like I was a huge fan of his in my teen years, and would just like devour his books. They're so good and like so, I don't know, compelling. And not even just Jurassic Park, but like, I mean, Jurassic Park is phenomenal, but I don't even think it's like his best.
No.
I always thought it was interesting because it seems like a lot of his books and a lot of the screenplays and things that he helps work on from there, it's like picking real life science or real things and ideas and then making plausible extrapolations from that. So like all the stuff
That's
with
exactly right.
Yeah. But
He
yeah,
did make ER too, which was another massive success.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he
Or at
likes
least he helped
he
write
likes
it or
the whole
something.
like taking existing science fiction or like medical science, things like that, and making it real. Like even I think like one of my favorite ones from him was Prey, and that was like
Mhm.
about essentially nanobots that go haywire and like act as a swarm and like come after people. Really quite cool.
Like imitate people, too, kind of.
Like that one
But
Terminator
I mean,
movie.
but like Michael Crichton, like he's a smart dude. Like he's a he was. He passed away a number of years ago. But he was a
Way too
he
early.
was
Wait,
a-
did he?
He was a he was
Yeah.
an MD
Yeah, like
from
2000s
Harvard.
or so.
So he has like
was
a
not-
huge education background in like medicine. So like
He was.
he
Yeah,
knows what
he
he's
was
talking
not
about.
too old.
Yeah, 2008.
He created ER too, I believe.
Yeah,
Or helped create
that's
it or
that.
something. Yeah.
Thanks for
Hey,
joining
Dean,
the
welcome to the
conversation,
show.
Dean.
Sorry.
it's good to know it's not just me who does that on occasion.
He was also massive too. He was like, yeah, he died at 66, was it? But he was also like 6'8" or something. 6'9".
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a
No,
shot
he
of him with
wasn't.
Steven Spielberg, and he looked tiny in comparison. No,
You
he
gotta be
absolutely was.
shitting me. I didn't know he was that tall.
And now starting center for the New York Knicks, Michael Crichton.
Michael Crichton would like moonlight as a WWE wrestler, would give Andre the Giant run for his money.
Oh my god.
Yeah, here we go.
He
There's
was 6'9". Holy shit.
His wrestling name was the Wordsmith. He was gonna take names. Does that work? I don't know.
I know he worked
Damn, I
on. Did
had
you
no
ever see the
idea.
movie Runaway with Tom Selleck and Gene Simmons from Kiss?
No.
Oh my god.
Where Gene Simmons has the bullets in this gun that, like, I think it is programmed to specific person's DNA, so he can fire it, and then it will like just take around corners and go through buildings and things looking for the person, like a heat seeker.
Wait, so he's got like a gun with your name on it then? Like
Literally, yeah.
Just-
Well, I guess just the bullet, but the gun just kind of puts it there. But yeah, I remember it being a wild movie. I haven't seen it in years, but we should rewatch it at some point just for the giggles of it all.
So it's cool that so many of us had actually read the book and read Crichton. I mean, for me, I know it's been quite a while, but I thought it was cool. I hadn't realized actually until researching this that like Michael Crichton did the first pass on the script as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was Crichton. Like, I think it was Jurassic Park that got me to read a lot of his stuff. And it was, I mean, aside from the book just being, it's still worth reading the book regardless of the movie already being such a great thing, because the book is so wildly different from the movie that it's about 65% there. And there's enough of a difference where it makes it enjoyable, on top of the fact that it does take it into a much darker direction, whereas the movie itself is a lot more Walt Disney screws up versus modern Disney screws up kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, I feel like that's kind kind of not Crichton, Spielberg's MO, right? Like he puts a lot of heart into his movies, but like they all have like ton of heart but a little bit of bite. So like it definitely twisted. Like, yeah, like you said, Crichton was way darker in this. Like there is no happy ending here in Crichton's version.
No.
And like, you know, Spielberg recharacterizes a lot of the characters.
I mean, it helps too that.
Oh,
go ahead.
Oh no, he like recharacterizes them to give them like a different meaning in like a cool way. Like, you know, Spielberg told a really cool story with like how he changed John Hammond or John Hammond. But like Crichton's version of him was like the ultra capitalist, whereas Spielberg went with like the stupid optimist.
Yeah. Like in the book, he even flat out says, you know, why make a dinosaur park? And he said that, you know, I can spend all this money on genetics research and look into vaccines and cures, but there's too much red tape behind it. It's a lot more profitable to just make a theme park because there's less taxes involved. And it's just insane to think that he went that route just for the money versus this one where he genuinely wanted to see like little kids' faces light up and not terror, but you know, just light up in excitement seeing all the things that he was able to create versus the other guy, he really couldn't have given two shits about it. And
the first tagline of the movie was "There's less taxes involved."
Much less. I mean, after all, like they went to Costa Rica because it was cheaper. Yeah, let's see. So this was written by Michael Crichton in 1990. The film was later adapted into a movie and directed by Steven Spielberg, which we've kind of touched on already. Jurassic Park released.
I don't think I realized it was such a tight turnaround between the book and the movie.
Well, the thing is that when he was writing the book, Steven Spielberg found out because he was already close friends with Crichton. And when he found out, like, oh, what you working on? Oh, you know, this dinosaur thing, the theme park. He bought the rights or tried to buy the rights before it was even finished.
Yeah.
So that's why the turnaround was so quick, because he knew this was going to be massive. So Spielberg paid Crichton $1.5 million for the rights and an additional $500,000 to adapt the screenplay. So they moved quick on getting this done as quickly as possible.
$2 million in 1990.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention the marketing and the merchandising.
It's like I heard a rumor actually that when Steven Spielberg approached Michael Crichton about what the name of his project was, he said it was Billy and the Clonosaurus.
Wait, what?
That was the Simpsons episode where Seymour Skinner loses his job as principal. And he tells Apu and Bart about how this great story he has, the great American novel about a boy who goes to an amusement park from the future where there's dinosaurs, and it's called Billy and the Clonosaurus. And then Apu just like rips him a new one about how stupid that is and how it's already been written, and it was a major motion picture.
I don't remember that joke, but it's
also that makes me realize that
explaining
this is the first time that Michael Crichton's gone to like the amusement park, theme park kind of because when he did Westworld back in the 70s, it was kind of a similar thing of like we'll have kind of a theme parky experience that you go exist in. So everything in technology will eventually be made into a theme park that goes haywire.
Maybe he just hated theme parks.
Possible. You know, he just hated capitalism. That was his thing.
That's a good point. There's a lot of books that do talk about the evils of capitalism.
Yeah. Not much has changed.
It's true. I mean, even Congo was technically kind of about evil capitalism.
Stop eating my sesame cake.
Because when was Congo on the timeline? Oh, 1980. So yeah, wow. By the time Jurassic Park hit, he was already not only like a famous author, but also involved in the movie scene with, like I mentioned, Runaway and like Great Train Robbery and a bunch of other things from there. So it seems odd to just have like the massive success thing happening middle of the career after you've already had a decent number of successes.
I know, that's like the funny thing. Like Michael Crichton was like the book writer of the 90s movies. Like it was just like every book he wrote, it was just like, yeah, here's a movie. Here's another movie. You got
Yeah,
another,
for
you
real.
need a movie idea? Here's a movie.
Like
He-
what? Sphere, Timeline, ER was adapted into something. What else was there?
13 Warriors.
13th
yeah.
Warrior was Eaters of the Dead.
Eaters of the
He wrote
Dead, yeah.
Twister.
Andromeda Strain.
That's right.
Oh yeah, Andromeda Strain, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we mentioned
I believe.
what you call it, Westworld and whatnot.
Yep.
Dude was
The Da
killing
Vinci
it.
Or sorry,
Code.
Westworld was
The
73.
Da Vinci. The Da
Wait, that
Vinci
was a-
Code 2.
Was that? I don't.
Dan,
What?
Dan Brown?
Just throwing curveballs here.
Dean's just standing at the airport reading them right off the rack.
You know, Harry Potter, the Harry Potter series.
All the Tom Clancy's.
All right, I can't top that now. That's good.
So Michael Crichton wrote Tom Clancy and like
He
in the
is
mouth of
Tom
madness
Clancy.
situation.
it's just another pseudonym for Michael Crichton.
Another Splinter Cell. I have to. It's how he wrote me.
He got tired of all the limelight and he just stopped wanting to make movies. He just wanted to make books.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like what was the whole Stephen King situation with Richard Bachman of, yeah, I just want to see like writing some other things that are different from my main genre. And then that's when we got like Running Man and stuff like that.
Which didn't sell well until it came out that was his pseudonym, and then all of a sudden like sells out everywhere.
Yeah, because that happened around the time of, I think, Thinner, where he ended up writing Thinner under Richard Bachman. They made the discovery, some guy in like some clerk somewhere ended up figuring it out. It blew up, and then it like, oh, now all of a sudden Thinner is a bestseller.
You know what's really funny, Tim? You mentioned Thinner, and I was like, oh, I was just listening to something about Thinner on a podcast recently. And I was like, oh yeah, that was Don't Open. Oh yeah.
I didn't plug it. It's organic.
Did Jurassic Park launch anybody? Like maybe Joseph Mazzello, I don't know how much he did until he got a little bit older.
He did Star Kid like almost immediately afterward, which was okay because we were the kind of target audience at that time when it came out, because it was very Power Ranger meets Guyver meets it was very similar to that. But afterward, I feel I didn't see him until Queen.
He was in he did have a small part in the Facebook
Social Network?
movie.
Yeah.
Social Network. That was the next time I remember. And then I think he was in the Pacific. I want to say it was the Pacific or the other World War II one that's similar.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other one?
I
He's in
know
one of us.
Ariana Richards kind of fell out of acting. She didn't retire, but that wasn't for her. That was her one and done thing. Richard Attenborough is already he's already got a massive credit to his history at that point in time.
Right.
Jeff Goldblum's been around. I mean, I think if anything, Samuel L. Jackson's the weirdest casting in this entire movie.
And I know, I
In
think
my
this was
eyes,
very
anyway.
early B.D. Wong, because B.D. Wong had only had like a couple bit parts and then a supporting role in like Father of the Bride a couple years before this hit.
Which also the treatment of the Wu character is like in the movie is kind of sad compared to the book. In the book, he had a much bigger part, and in this, he was just kind of like, "Hey, I'm a scientist, man."
I remember that line.
I love all his lines. Who let you into the lab? You can't catch me.
This
In
is how I would
hindsight,
write the
I do-
dialogue if I wrote a movie.
He just grabs a dinosaur egg and runs out of the building.
Hey, who's
I
that
do
guy?
wish-
I'm a scientist, man.
I do wish they did kill him like they did in the books, only because they turned him into like a tragic Frankenstein kind of role by the time the sequel trilogy came out, and it just wasn't really like enough is enough, and I feel like
Yeah,
they're just milking it dry.
Yeah, they didn't. It seemed like they didn't really know what to do with him in the movie. Like they just didn't have space for him. So they were just like, yeah, he'll stay around, and if there's sequels, maybe there will be. Well, because that's another thing, right? Because in the movie itself, it's never really, at least from memory, it's never really touched on that like there's dinosaurs on other islands. And I wonder if they
Right.
just didn't know how successful the movie would be. Whereas like in the book, it was very evident that they're like, yeah, there's dinosaurs all over Costa Rica. Like fucking dinosaurs everywhere.
Yeah, like it seems odd going back now with like the most recent movie that you're seeing trailers for, and it's like, wait, so that means not only Jurassic Park, but there were like what, 15 islands scattered all across these places, like, and now another island that this is where they kept all of like their criminal dinosaurs for years.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. I mean,
The penal
it's
colony.
I feel they jumped the shark after World had come out, because I really did like World. For what it was, I thought it was a good attempt at a reboot, just like The Force Awakens and some of the other reboots like Star Trek, same exact thing. I thought it was a good attempt on bringing something older back into the cultural zeitgeist and seeing how well they can keep it afloat. And then the second one really just destroyed that. And then especially with the original, like in the book there were 15 species, or was there? But there's at least like 15 or 12 to 15 species in the book, and they did the same exact thing in the movie. However, you only get to see 7 of them. And then of those, it went from like 15 to like 25 by the time The Lost World came out. And then it jumped from like 25. I think there's like 60 different species that they resurrected, but they never explain like where the hell they're coming from. Just all of a sudden, it's like, hey, there's like 15 new guys we've never seen before. Well, how the fuck did they get existed? Because it costs like $50 million to make each one. So where did these come from? I don't know.
It's just BD Wong in a factory, like that one I Love Lucy episode.
He's just like putting T-Rexes in his shirt pockets.
Oh god! Oh god!
Not all of them make it.
He has a many-pocketed trench coat. He's just stuffing dinosaurs in it. Later, he like goes to Central Park and he just opens his trench coat. He's like, "Hey kids, you want to buy a dinosaur?"
Meanwhile, Wayne Knight is like, "Wait, we could have just done that."
But yeah, so like they kind of eventually get to Crichton's vision for like the dinosaurs kind of just being all over the place in Costa Rica. It's just revealed in weird ways where it's just like, oh yeah, they're only here, and then the next movie, but they're also here now. I don't know. I also tend to be a bit of a purist. I didn't really like any of them after the second one. But
yeah,
we're Rebirth is the same. It's all this. Everything has happened. It's just the next story now, right?
Yeah, it's
another. You know that it's in sequential order.
It's another sequel trilogy, I guess. I don't know. Oh, so you're like hinting that it might be before World?
I mean, I guess I didn't know if that was known at all. Like,
I'd assume so.
It could take place at the same time or just completely after everything.
They have a loose mosasaur in the water, so I'd imagine that it's probably after.
Oh, that's a good point.
Fallen Kingdom, which I think is dumb because there's one mosasaur and it happens to be everywhere where it needs to be.
It's 5 years after Jurassic World Dominion.
Is it?
Okay. Officially.
Is that like Dominion was the one where they're at the end and they're like, we'll just coexist with the dinosaurs now?
No, that's Fallen Kingdom.
Oh.
Dominion's where they had grasshoppers.
Yeah.
And those were a problem.
I haven't seen any of them after Jurassic World. Just because I didn't go into theaters for it, and then I didn't hear good buzz, so I was like, I'm not gonna. I wasn't paying for an AMC pass at the time. So
watch Fallen Kingdom just so you can roast it.
Then why don't we watch it together?
Oh, that sounds good.
And just put it to task. I think
I'm beginning to think I didn't see that one. I don't know.
I'm waiting for them to get far enough ahead that it's like no longer them going to an island. It's the dinosaurs have finally hit the mainland and they're like in stateside. And then we can have a trilogy that's like Planet of the Apes of now all of the cities are overrun and it's starting to be decrepit and now people are hiding out for dinosaurs.
Well, half that already happened. So all the dinosaurs are loose as of the second one. and then Dominion is when they inhabit the Americas, the South, Europe, Asia. They're everywhere
Oh,
now.
then I should watch it because
Wait, isn't this kind of just the plot of like Godzilla King of All Monsters? Like
Kind of, but the
they-
thing that kills me too is like how all of a sudden like there's dinosaurs everywhere, which I still don't understand because you would think they would have still neutered them from being in the park because you don't want unauthorized breeding, especially with animals this expensive. You don't want them to just be breeding all over the place. And then other companies, because I guess what is it, like the not licensing, or just they cracked the code on, they basically reverse engineered their own dinosaurs and they started making them too. And that's why there's so many of them now, and now they're like just living in the world with everybody else.
But
It's
wait, that
stupid.
didn't get shut down at a governmental level in this series, but farmers aren't allowed to reuse their own seeds because they're like it's some sort of genetic IP from the seed companies. But dinosaurs, that's fine.
I mean,
that
maybe
was the-
Monsanto's the one making dinosaurs.
Maybe.
that was the plot for the third one, is that because farmers were
Well,
getting
I'll be
all
damned.
of their crops destroyed from stupid genetically, like they brought back grasshoppers or locusts the size of like a small dog, and they're just wrecking havoc on fields, but they're designed to not eat specific crops, which is also owned by the same people that released the bugs.
Trying
It's
to create
stupid.
a monopoly.
It's
Also,
so
I like
stupid.
how this is just David and I learning about the third Jurassic Park movie as I write it in my head and you tell me it all exists.
Yeah, it's so
This
dumb.
also sounds like a very different movie. Like this sounds like a separate movie that needs to be somewhere else.
Yeah, it was so this is why the third one was panned pretty hard. I mean, the second one was fucking bad, but this one takes the cake. It wasn't terrible, but the plot was really fucking stupid.
My favorite part about Dominion is where some of Jeff Goldblum's lines actively roast the movie. He's like, you can't just have the you can't just be nostalgic about dinosaurs and expect people to pay attention. It's like it seemed pretty meta, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, you're kind of roasting the movie.
And then seconds later, Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler walk through the door. Speaking of dinosaurs.
Oh,
So anyway, for at least the original Jurassic Park,
Unnecessary.
they cleverly spent $65 million in marketing
Huh.
and then earned $81 billion by the end of its, like, adjusted for gross and all that. That's how much they ended up making. I can't tell if this was like at the end of its first week, or budgets and earnings are always difficult to research, but it made a shit ton of money. And then it also eventually earned the Academy Awards in Best Visual Effects, Sound, and Best Sound Effects Editing. That's a category.
All the
I figured
dinosaurs
sound would've
were
been
Frank
within it.
Welker. Wait, I actually have to check that now because there's a possibility that might be right.
No, it's not.
Okay.
They used dogs and dolphins and all sorts of crazy stuff for the dinosaur noises.
That's why Prehysteria
that's-
is the superior 90s dinosaur film.
When you see the T-Rex eating the Gallimimus and he shakes it in his head, the guy recorded his dog like playing with a rope toy or something, and that's the sound that they used for that bit, which was interesting.
I can't believe Schindler's List beat Jurassic Park for Best Picture.
Wait, that
I mean,
year?
I can. I'm joking. Yeah,
Wait, so that
they
means
came out the same. They came out the same year.
so did Spielberg had to offer condolences to himself?
Yeah, it was he was finishing Jurassic Park.
I don't think Jurassic
when-
Park was nominated anyway, but
he was finishing the movie when he started Schindler's List, so it was a hell of a transition for him.
Yeah, I think part of it, and this is just speculation from some reading, was that he only got greenlit to do Schindler's List because he agreed to do Jurassic Park. I think certain studios felt that after he did Schindler's List, he might not be able to go back in his career and do those kinds of movies anymore. So they wanted to make sure that he had done that and like got it finished and out the door before Schindler's List.
I feel like for anybody unfamiliar at that point would have been so confused of like, oh yeah, I checked out the Steven Spielberg guy. I love Schindler's List. And then check out the next movie and it's like Jurassic Park, or vice versa of like, Jurassic Park, can't wait for the next action-packed Schindler's List, a wartime film.
Was it the other Simpsons joke of Schindler's Fist?
It took me a while to finally watch Schindler's List, but it was good. I'll never watch it again though.
I mean, yeah, it falls into a lot of those films that it's like, is it impactful? Is it important? Is it good? Will I ever have a desire to throw this on for a second viewing? No.
Yeah. Worth watching once, especially in current times. People need to keep that in their minds.
Yeah.
Also, the dangers of dinosaur genetics.
Did you hear they brought back the direwolf?
I did hear that.
I did, but I didn't know how.
I didn't really look into it.
Yeah, I didn't know how truthful that whole process was.
Yeah, I don't either. Especially they just like, and here's the pictures of the puppies, and they look like fucking husky puppies. I mean,
Trust us, they're gonna get huge.
right? So Jurassic Park, everyone knows the dinosaurs, obviously, but the biggest thing to that movie that really brought into the big screen was just special effects in general. You know, we've had them for hundreds of years, but computer generated special effects is something that was much newer in terms of what it could do. And I think the biggest things that really kind of showcased what it could do, like Tron got scrubbed because of the special effects. They did rotoscoping and there was a lot of computer CGI stuff in Tron that when it came out, it was ahead of its time, but people weren't really for it. I never remember the name of the movie, but it's like a glass, stained glass window kind of shatters and it becomes like a night. That was another special effects showcase that came out. I think it was in the 80s.
Now all of us are frantically trying to remember what this is.
Young Sherlock Holmes from 1985 was the first animated character in live action feature film. So there's that one, and then The Abyss was huge because of that water creature thing that they did.
Water creature thing, yeah.
And then that evolved into the T-1000 and Terminator 2. And then Jurassic Park was the first time it really showcased what it truly could do, because all the times before that, it was very simple. Water's very easy for animators to animate, and it wasn't too difficult for them to do, The Abyss and T-1000 because they're almost one and the same. It's just a different texture at the end of the day. But then when it came to this, it's like, how do you go about doing something like this? And then before any of the dinosaurs actually came to be, they did do animatronics in live action for as much as they could. The biggest one that they did, I think, was the Brachiosaur head. That was one of the bigger ones that they did, but it was still kind of simple. But they did have a full-size T-Rex, Triceratops. They did make a baby Triceratops, but that didn't make it into the film. Dilophosaur, and then the raptors as well. Trying to think if I missed any, but I think that was it in the first movie.
Can you imagine having to work on the entirety of the baby Triceratops animatronic and then just be like, didn't make the cut, put it back in the pile?
Didn't make it.
Did you say, sorry, did you say, I think they made, was it Parasaurolophus? Parasaurolophus? Well, there's that one wide shot of the swamp, and there's like other dinosaurs, and that's the only time you see them.
True, but I mean, for practical.
Practical effects. Sorry, I thought you meant digital.
Yeah, no, for digital, they did do all of the dinosaurs, at least digitally. Trying to think if there was one that wasn't. Actually, the Triceratops was the only non-digital one, and then maybe the Dilophosaurus as well. But for the CGI, every shot that they originally planned to do was going to be stop motion, which I really kind of wish that alternate dimension travel was possible just to see that movie, because they have.
You can find online some clips of like what the stop motion was going to look like, but It would have been neat
Yeah.
to see it like in production.
Because wasn't that Phil
Yeah.
Tippett's work for the stop motion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Phil Tippett ended up doing a couple of scenes. He did the raptors in the kitchen and then the T-Rex breakout. And that's what they were going to go with. They had a few of the scenes already kind of like almost fully mapped out using that method. And then one day, one guy was just messing around on his computer with CGI, and then he had a herd of, I forget which came first, but he had like the herd of Gallimimus running through a field in CGI, and then Kathleen Kennedy saw it, and she's like, "Whoa, wait, Steve, you need to see this." And then the guy ended up doing not only just that, but he included a walking T-Rex through a meadow, and he combined the two shots together so it looked like the Rex was hunting the Gallimimus, and immediately he was like, "This is it. We're going to go with CGI instead." He even included in the line, he did this a few times, but he included the line like, "Looks like we're out of a job." "Oh, don't you mean extinct?" And almost, I thought it was kind of screwed up that he included that line in the movie, considering that he was talking about his stop motion animators about this. Like
True.
salt in the wound.
Stop motion is a incredible art. Like, there's so
It
many
is.
fantastic like stop motion movies. And, like, I mean, nothing comes to mind like super recently, but like Kubo and the Eight Strings is one that I always think of, and like how beautiful stop motion can be. But like,
Oh yeah.
what this team was able to do with CGI at the time and the blending of, you know, like props and puppetry mixing with CGI was like, it holds up so incredibly well.
Well, I
It's
think
baffling.
it's the thing that we always talk about is it's not one or the other. It's using one to augment the other. So it's just like, yeah, if you have a good practical effect and then having that like embedded with the CGI work, that still today I look at Jurassic Park and I'm like, yeah, this looks terrific. There's stuff
And it
that
looks
came out
better.
10
Right.
years after that I look at that I'm like, oh, this looks bad.
Yeah. I don't get how Jurassic Park still stands toe to toe with modern movies, that it feels like this is real in Jurassic Park, whereas I know I'm looking at a CG raptor in Jurassic World. I don't understand on why. And they played with their strengths too, because like Corridor Crew on YouTube does a fantastic job of breaking down special effects scenes and talking about like, the behind the scenes on how it's done on the computer versus like how you do it in real life. And they did break down that T-Rex breakout scene, and clearly everyone on that team played to their strengths, and they knew what they could accomplish with CGI and what they couldn't accomplish. And they made sure that the lighting is going to be a big deal. We have to make sure that it's lit in a very certain way. The shadows are going to be casted in a very particular way with the water on the ground every time its foot splashes into the ground. Incorporate all of that stuff, and it's like a lot of CGI too. It's the stuff that you don't notice is what makes it look real. Because if you notice a shadow is missing when it should be there, you're immediately going to pick up on it. But if the shadow is present, your mind doesn't even think twice about looking at that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Spielberg was smart, at least when it came to that, because he just basically lost the job of like 100+ people because of switching. Like, hey, we're good. They were they were pretty much getting ready to do all the filming with the stop motion, and then like, nope, we're pulling the plug. We're switching to CGI. But they were smart enough that they were able to bridge that gap between CGI and stop motion by taking the dinosaur skeletons that they used for the stop motion. They were able to rig that into the computer, and they called them dinosaur input devices. So they used the stop motion puppets to feed information into the computer so that they can do all of the subtle movements easily in CGI, and it'll record everything that they do and the puppet into the computer, and then it'll be translated right into the CGI model, which was really interesting to see.
Huh. I didn't even know that.
I have a whole VHS, or a whole VHS. I have a VHS of just the making of Jurassic Park, and it's like an hour and a half long, and it's narrated by what's his name? We were talking about him before.
Richard Kiley.
Ultimate Warrior.
Spared no expense. Darth Vader. James Earl Jones.
Oh.
Yeah, he does
Wait,
the
why is it
narration
narrated
for
by
it.
James Earl
Warrior.
Jones?
He's got an amazing voice. Why wouldn't you?
No, I just figured it would be someone like from the cast or the production or something. I don't know.
Samuel L.
I'm pretty
Jackson.
sure.
David Attenborough.
I wasn't expecting them to be like hiring someone to do narration. I figured it would just be almost like a commentary track over it.
Like an in-house job.
Just someone on the production crew with like a GoPro and like, oh, and here we're gonna do the dinosaurs here.
But I did think that was cool how they did all the things behind the scenes for for that. And I mean the film itself had a lot of issues going through. Halfway into filming, they're on location in Hawaii, and a few things had to be scrapped. Like I mentioned, there was that baby Triceratops that Lex would have rode, but that was ultimately cut from the script. The conclusion of the sick Triceratops scene that was cut, for those that are still curious, it regurgitated rocks similar to that of birds that have they use something called a gizzard, which they would ingest rocks. It goes into the sac and it'll help digest like plant matter and stuff. Every 6 weeks, it would regurgitate those smooth rocks, but in turn, it would also regurgitate anything else it would have eaten, such as those poison berries. And that's why it would get sick every 6 weeks, which is fully explained in the novel. And then a big one that they keep hinting at constantly is a river raft sequence involving the Rex. This was also in the novel as well. Novel pretty much follows the movie pretty closely. You know, T-Rex breaks out, Alan, Lex, Tim, they're stuck in the middle of the park behind the fences, and they find a raft. And they decide to use that to follow the river all the way back to the visitor center. And then during their time on the raft, when they're getting it, the T-Rex is like sleeping right on the dock. So they end up trying to escape the T-Rex as it wakes up while they're on the raft. And that was supposed to be in the book, or they was supposed to be in the movie too, but that didn't, I guess that would have been expensive to do. So I think they just cut that for timing and
Would have made a
probably
great
budgetary
ride
reasons.
at Universal.
You're right.
I also just question their judgment, being like, "Oh man, we're getting away from dinosaurs. You know what we should add to this? White river rafting."
What are kids into in 1993?
And then one of the big ones too that was cut was Mr. Arnold's death sequence, because that was supposed to be filmed, but they were a hurricane ended up hitting Hawaii at the time of filming, and it destroyed a lot of the sets that were built. And they even used some of that real hurricane footage in the movie because of just they were all stuck inside the hotel. And it's like, well, a hurricane kind of wrecks the havoc on the island, and we have actual hurricane footage outside. Let's just turn the cameras on and roll. But Arnold's
those
death was
shots of
supposed
like
to be done.
the waves crashing into the coastline.
That was why there was that
Yeah.
one guy on deck that was screaming, "Steven, stop filming and help me."
I have to say though, that whole
Get a shot of that guy, he's drowning.
that whole terrible weather sequence for Dennis, I felt so bad for him. Like, he's just awkward and clumsy, and it's so awful outside. Like, I just watched that sequence and I'm just like, oh man, just go back. Nothing's worth this. Just go back.
That was a lot of money, David. I would have done the same thing. It was $1.5 million for all 15 species off the island.
Yeah, I guess, but like that weather
Pretty
was a
good.
real inconvenience. I don't know. I feel
wasn't
like at some
planned
point I
either.
would have just given up and been like,
don't know about
I'll do this
inconvenience."
tomorrow or something.
Well, they had to evacuate the island. It's no longer inconvenient.
I actually don't
Captain
know.
says, we gotta go. We gotta go.
I don't know actually if they evacuated the island for the hurricane or not. Well, actually, it was a tropical storm at the time. But I really don't know, because I know they were all planning on leaving the island anyway. I guess for like weekend leave or something. That's why there was like
Yeah,
nobody.
the boat was already leaving.
Yeah. Not sure. But the movie did have 15 dinosaurs created for the theme park, which kind of sucks because we didn't see all of them. So on film, we got to see the Brachiosaur, Parasaurolophus, Velociraptor, Dilophosaurus, Triceratops, T-Rex, and Gallimimus. We are shown that there's also
You can edit it in.
Proceratosaurus, a Stegosaur, Metracanthosaurus, Herrerasaurus, and Baryonyx were left off film, but they were supposedly actually created and living at the time that the park was created. The novel branches from this and showcases the below confirmed list, because the cool thing when in the novel is that many times Michael Crichton likes to include like graphics in his book, and
Huh.
they show like an actual list, because Malcolm figures out that, hey, your dinosaurs are breeding, and then Arnold's like, that's impossible. Like, let me look. Here's the total: 172 dinosaurs, and Malcolm's like, yeah, because you're expecting 172 dinosaurs. Put in 173 and see what happens, and then the number goes up, and then they set the number to like 400 or something, and then they realize that they have a lot more dinosaurs than they expected. So in the novel, they have a patasaur,
What?
right? A patasaur, Pterodactylus, Dilophosaur again, Dryosaurus, which is referred to as Hypsilophodonts, Euplocephalus, Hadrosaurus, Myosaur, Microceratops, Othnielia, Procompsognathus, Stegosaur, Striacosaurus, Triceratops, Tyrannosaurus, and Velociraptor, also in the novel as well. Some of those ended up eventually going into like the Lost World. We see those there. I like that we get to, I forget that even in Jurassic Park you do see parasaurs in there, but it's like a blink and you miss it kind of thing, and then they're fully showcased in the sequel. But no, they were there in this one too. Compies were in the original Jurassic Park novel too, and they played a much larger role, but at least to the point of they actually had a spotlight in a couple of scenes. They realized too, like, dinosaur poop didn't decompose in modern times, so they had no way of dealing with brachiosaur-sized mounds of poop. But then when they realized that compies would eat them, that would in turn break down and then into something that's a lot more manageable in today's day and age. Because, I mean, they go into it too in the novel, and even though he kind of does a little bit in the movie, we take for granted a lot of things that, let's just bring back a dinosaur. There's a lot more involved than we realize, because like certain bacteria existed back then that don't now, and vice versa. Stuff that exists now that didn't back then, that can completely wreck certain ecosystems.
Yeah.
The poop thing was definitely one that made you like kind of scratch your head like, huh, that's right, because without that bacteria, that's not going to break down. It's just going to be there forever. Malcolm had a big issue with like the stegosaurs. They all looked like they were wheezing and sickly, and because they just weren't accustomed and acclimated to the current atmosphere versus what it was 65 million years ago. So I mean, the novel definitely goes into the ethics of bringing these kinds of creatures back, but at least in terms for the movie itself, that's not what we were looking for. We wanted something a lot more streamlined and a lot more cut to the chase action, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean that's why this movie, I feel, is like a incredible example of how to do exposition well. Like, even when we're getting the like I can't remember its name, but like the animated DNA character, like
Mr.
giving the
DNA, where did you
exposition.
Mr.
come from?
DNA.
Mr. DNA. I
Oh,
had it,
Mr.
honestly. I had
DNA.
it.
Where did you come from?
I just don't refer to him as Mr. Uh but
From
like
your blood.
but like that exposition dump, but like being an exposition dump in universe, like
Yeah.
it just it
Like it
flows
works
so seamlessly.
organically.
Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, like this is
It's like-
technically exposition, but you're experiencing it as the characters are. It's just done so well. But like, yeah, it just
really
kind of
was.
it's like introduces the idea of the science without going into the actual Michael Crichton craziness level of depth that he
Yeah.
writes. It's
In
just
the-
like
in the
enough,
novel-
enough for you to get it and like set the rules for the universe.
Yeah, in the novel they had a character named Ed Regis that was kind of like the tour guide that was forced to show Tim, Alan, Sally, everyone around the park, and he filled in a lot of that exposition. And it was tough because it's just two characters going back and forth with questions, and it's not nearly the same kind of sleight of hand that they were able to do was watching just that animated like movie. It was like 1 minute of exposition caught you up on everything that you would need to for the whole rest of the movie.
You didn't want one scene of Hammond walking up to BD Wong's character and just being like, "You need to work on my dinosaurs that we got out of the mosquitoes and the amber." As you know.
As you know.
Exposition, heavy-handed exposition has become a real pet peeve of mine in any kind of storytelling medium.
I feel like the next heavy-handed exposition I want is like a character gets a report on something and he has to read it, and the camera just pans over the report that he's reading, and we have to read it in real time with them.
He uses his finger, and the finger goes across each line as he reads it.
It's basically like a text crawl, but like way, way worse.
Do you guys watch Yellow Jackets at all?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the recent season had something that I thought was so atrocious in that, and where
the whole season.
For those haven't seen the show, it's just a bunch of like soccer girls go on a trip to like nationals, and their plane goes down, and they have to live in the wilderness for like 2 years, 3 years, whatever, and they kind of go feral, and then it flashes back and forth between modern present day and 25 years ago in the wilderness when it happened, and one of the girls, Melissa, wears a backwards baseball cap, and they had the nerve to do that. As 25 years later, the adult is wearing a backwards baseball cap just to kind of like nudge, wink, wink. Hey, this is the same character. Like, I know this is the same character. You didn't need to give her a fucking baseball cap.
Yeah,
I think that was so rude.
It's like years later, she's still wearing like beat up jeans and a flannel shirt over the top of a t-shirt and a backwards hat. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. Did you just decide this is my lifestyle now post grunge?
Yeah, no shit. Like, that was so insulting.
Steve Buscemi meme.
Okay, brief aside to Yellow Jackets, the other thing that's insulting is the fact that it's like, we're how many seasons in, and every time they flash back to when they were kids in the woods, they still end up introducing new characters that they're like, well, I've been watching you for a while. Where have you been watching me for a while? Because you weren't on the plane. So
that's a good point.
We'll do a whole rule of thirds on tropes part 2 or something, talking about my hate of Yellow Jackets' most recent season and how brain dead they think I am to be like, and also here's 5 other friends that we have. Really? Then why weren't they talking to you for the entire first 2 seasons?
I have theories.
We thought of them later.
Because there's actually one survivor and all the rest are dead. They're all in their heads.
They're all dead the whole time.
This sounds like a lost ending, like in the making.
Almost. They say they have it written, but I won't. I
don't believe that for a minute.
I don't believe it for
a minute. One goddamn minute.
So, Dean, I know.
Not since the rug was pulled on me with Battlestar Galactica, where they didn't think who the
oh no,
the what are they called, the robots in Battlestar Galactica?
Cylons.
They didn't decide who was secretly a Cylon in Battlestar Galactica until the last 3 episodes. There was no big overarching, who is it? They never knew. They were just like, we'll figure it out at the end.
Dumb.
Oh, I don't remember that anybody was revealed that late. But it's been a long time since I watched that series. Still a great series.
So, Dean, I know you absolutely had the toys growing up, right?
Absolutely. And I have the new ones, too.
Do you have the dino damage?
Some of them do. Yeah, they've been nostalgic with their toy aisle toys, definitely.
One thing I found out, I think it was done in the Netflix show with toys. I think they did a Jurassic Park one. And if not, it was somewhere on YouTube. I don't know where I saw it. But apparently, when the toys came out, there really wasn't a lot of marketing material created for merchandising yet. there was still a lot that was being captured and kind of figured out along the way. So with the novel already in existence, or at least enough from the novel, they took a lot of liberties from the novel into the toys. That's why there's a Juvie T-Rex as a toy. That's why none of the characters have the actor's licensing, or have the actor's likeness, because just they didn't know what they would look like just yet, or who was cast for what. And a couple of other dinosaurs that came up within the toy line itself. The color schemes tended to match the book version a lot more than the actual novel or the movie. But apparently, the logo for Jurassic Park, as iconic as it is, was developed by the toy agency first. I think it was
Huh.
Kenner that had the license. And
Oh,
then when
damn.
Steven Spielberg came in
Wait.
to look over
Oh,
everything,
okay. Sorry, go ahead.
when Spielberg came in to look at the toys, he's like, "Wait a minute, what is that?" And they're like, "Oh, we just spun this up for the logo." And he's like, "Yeah, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be the one that we used for the movie too."
That must have been really early on because it's all over the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So he lucked into that. He lucked into some guy on his lunch break creating CGI.
Even the original Jurassic Park logo, I think it's with like a blue
font?
dinosaur instead.
Now I
And
want
it's
to Google
hard to
this.
find too, because it looks nothing like the original one. Because I think it's just like the words Jurassic Park with like a blue brachiosaur or patasaur, one of those.
I feel like I just saw recently like a shot that all the toys and merchandising has. It's like that it's that really sunsetty shot of that island, like with all the trees silhouetted.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw somewhere like the actual photo, like
Just
that.
believe it
Where
hard
all
enough
that
and
came
it'll be
from.
true.
It's like a real photo that was taken.
Oh, that's cool.
I think it might have been. It could have been a painting too, but I feel like it was a photo. Everything I said could be wrong.
As long as you
Don't
believe.
listen to anything I'm saying.
And don't have an internet connection.
Just everybody clap. Clap.
Yeah, because there's so many of just like cast rubber or plastic dinosaurs.
Oh yeah.
They talked about
Yeah,
that in
yeah,
that same
yeah.
documentary too, that, how are we going to differentiate our dinosaur toys with the millions of other ones that are already in existence? Yeah. So they started to put like the letters JP on the leg or, foot or wherever they can fit it onto each dinosaur, so that they had that tagline. I don't think it was ever said verbally,
Oh, they
but
were
it was
great.
like said maybe in like magazines and stuff. But exactly that, like, it's not if it's not quality, or however
Right.
David had said it, it was a lot more efficient. But yeah, like as long as it has those like JP letters on it, you got quality for our toys. And honestly, even growing up, those toys were a lot better than all the other dinosaur toys growing up.
It doesn't say JP. It's not Jurassic Park.
So
Yep.
set it on fire with
I
a
know, they
lighter
really-
from your dad's
They
closet.
went like full Batman with like some of the characters,
Caused a lot of problems with kids back then.
where it's
Why?
Yeah, the Alan Grant toy came with a working flamethrower. Parents weren't happy.
I think Dennis Nedry toy was the biggest departure from the actor in the film.
Yeah. The first run
Yeah.
the first run was really all over the place. They had an idea of what they would look like. It's not one to one, because like Alan Grant in the book has like a beard. He's got like a beer belly kind of thing going for him. He's a like one of those rugged outdoor types, and the action figure doesn't really showcase that. And neither does his face. He doesn't look like Sam Neill whatsoever. Same thing with the girl, doesn't look like Laura Dern. But then the second run, they did a little bit more tweaks to the face molds, and they look a lot closer to their likeness, but it still doesn't look anything like them. Like I have the Alan Grant toy, the recent one, and the original one from the 90s, and they look nothing compared to, well, the more recent one actually looks like Sam Neill, whereas the other one does not. But Then they went in a really weird direction with the toys too, and they had like a hunter group come in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Those were a lot of fun.
I had those.
I remember some sort of like crossbow hook
I had
thing.
those.
I mean, I still love that the Robert Muldoon character included a tranquilizer bazooka. Like those two things don't exist together. It's like, I'm gonna fire this bazooka at you and it's gonna put you to sleep. He went to sleep.
I mean, bazookas will put me to sleep. Extended.
It'll be a massive concussion. Oh, wait, you shouldn't go to sleep after the concussion, though. Oh no!
Then Muldoon has to stay up with the dinosaur and make sure it doesn't fall asleep. Stay
It's
with
like
me.
he went to sleep. He went to sleep with a concussion. I had nothing to do with his death.
After you fire the concussion bazooka, use the smelling salts to keep the dinosaurs awake.
Just the soul
trying to
leaves
find
its
a list.
body when you put it under its nose. Makes the noise like R2D2.
I'm trying to find the
Those
list
toys were
from the
great.
second series.
I like these
Just
headcanon
the
toys.
Chaos
hunters.
man.
Theory.
Did Ray Arnold come with a pack of American Spirits?
I wish. He still doesn't, even the modern toy. He actually didn't have a toy in the 90s.
Right.
So I just found a picture of Dr. Ian Malcolm's toy, and he has the most sci-fi looking shit I've ever seen in my life. It is like just a metallic like rocket launcher the size of him with like this neon green 3-pronged dart that attaches to like what looks like a nuclear power generator backpack.
Yeah.
And
I'm
I'm just
looking
like
at it now too.
looking at some like Space Marine level stuff going on with him. And I'm like, but man, he got his leg bit and basically he just got dragged around the rest of the movie making snarky comments. Never did he have some sort of futuristic bazooka laser cannon that
What the hell,
apparently is
baby
also
dinosaurs?
that's also a tranquilizer. They make sure
got
to
a
put in
backpack.
every toy.
It's got a backpack too, like a proton pack.
Yeah, right? Fighting some ghosts.
Let me see. So the I just had it. There we go. We had Skinner, Dr. Snare, Harpoon Harrison, Jaws Jackson, and Sergeant T-Rex Turner for the
T-Rex
toy
Turner.
lineup.
Was he like a human dinosaur hybrid?
No, not yet anyway.
I had all of them. I had everything.
I had to get rid of mine when I moved originally. It was bittersweet. I mean, I can get them back. I gave them to a buddy of mine to sell because he's big into like the eBay flipping stuff. And I'm like, here's the entire Jurassic Park collection out of box, near mint. Good luck.
So
Um,
Dean might now
I'll-
own all of those.
I'll never forgive John Williams for not playing Jurassic Park when I saw him at the Hollywood Bowl a couple
What?
years ago.
How did he not play that? That's
Wait,
one of
he
his
played,
most...
so
like,
was he in
he
concert or
played-
did you like find him in the parking lot?
It's like,
John,
play
John!
Jurassic Park for me.
I gave him a
What?
violin.
He's like, I'm a
Um,
composer. I don't know what you want from me.
I don't know. I can't read.
just in general, unrelated.
Yeah.
So distraught. He's like, I can't read.
Oh, I can
my
finally
God.
get that off my chest.
How have you made it this far,
Thank
John?
you, sir, in the parking lot of the Hollywood Bowl.
No, when he was in concert, I think he played Superman. He did
Harry Potter, I'm sure.
not Harry Potter. Yeah, Harry Potter, yes. E.T. He did like some of his biggest hits. So I'm like, oh, Jurassic Park has got to be in there. I think he was like taking requests from the audience, and then he petered out and didn't play Jurassic Park. And I
Play
was a little
Freebird.
upset.
All of Star Wars, all of it,
He probably did Star Wars. I'm pretty sure he did.
9 movies worth. I actually don't know if he did the sequel trilogy. I know he did The Force Awakens, but I don't know if he actually did the the last two.
That was me doing Duel of the Fates.
So I feel like I have to ask, like, this is derailing us, but getting us back on track. So this is just something I was thinking about in the car today about how, like, theologically in the movie, there's like this hard division between Ian Malcolm and
Alan Grant.
I forget Hammond's first name.
John.
John
Hammond. And there's like a clear divide on, like, Ian Malcolm is like, this is ridiculous. You never should have done this. Like, this is a terrible idea. Don't you understand the risks? And John Hammond's like, but it's so fun. And like, look at the dinosaurs. This is great. And I'm just, and like, I feel like those are like the two like strong, distinct camps in the story. And I just want to ask, like, where do people fall on this? Are you more of the hopeless optimist, and if we can make dinosaurs, we should? Or no, you should never make dinosaurs. What are you doing, you crazy madman?
definitely should. We know all the mistakes now from the movies. Just don't do those things.
I think it's one of those things where if he didn't do dinosaurs, it's not like he would have used that to become a great philanthropist. It would have just been, fine, I guess I'll just buy an island and just do my own thing. So yeah, make some dinosaurs. Just so I wouldn't go there, but I would just search it on YouTube on Friday nights when I'm just like, it's 11 o'clock at night, eating a bowl of ice cream, just like searching, yeah, what stuff's going on at Jurassic Park, and just watching vlogs.
Just turn on the live stream of the raptor pen.
I at this point, I think the likelihood of me going to Jurassic Park is higher than being able to get into the new Islands of Adventure, whatever Universal Park that just opened. If it was real, I absolutely would go there. But I don't know. I mean, the ethics behind it, I don't know.
Ian didn't get to see Jurassic Park in theaters when it first released, but I did see Lost World.
Oh man.
And
there you go.
I really enjoyed it.
You would have been like 6, right, when it came out? Because I remember I was too young to see it in theaters.
Which one?
I think 97 was Lost World.
No, Jurassic Park.
Oh, Jurassic
David, you're
Park.
not that much 4. Younger.
Oh, 4. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw that movie holds the record for me personally, being the most times or the most viewed in theaters. I saw it 9 times.
Holy shit.
Well, as a kid, it's easy because it's like, oh, I didn't go with my uncle. Oh, I didn't go with my grandmother. Oh, I didn't go with my family best friends over the years. I'll go with them. I'll go with them. I'll go with them. So I was able to see it. I saw it twice with my mother, and then like all the other times I went with like a different family member. But that was the highest record of movie in theater that I watched repeatedly. And
Lucky
even
boy.
Even the VHS, I know I watch it so many damn times. Like when you get to the scene where the helicopter lands and the helipad, it like when they first get to the park, the VHS kind of like crumbles a little bit in that scene for whatever reason. I've watched it so many damn times. One of the few movies too, like they can just flat out like recite from memory almost from start to finish.
I saw it on my 7th birthday. It came out June 11th, and my birthday's June 15th. So on my birthday, we went to go and see it.
Hell yeah.
I only saw it once. I imagine I don't know if I begged my parents to go back and see it. I imagine I probably asked to go see it again. But the next time I saw it, I was surprised. I had a friend sleep over. We went to the mall, and one of the movie stores there, like, it was in the window, like, it's, you know, it's the home release is tomorrow. Like, you can get it tomorrow. At least, either that's what it said in the window, or my parents just said it didn't come out. You couldn't buy it till tomorrow. But we got home, and then they're like, "Let's watch a movie," and they put in Jurassic Park, and I was like, "Oh!"
Little Dean lost his shit.
Like the very beginning, it's the dun, oh, like the chorus, and then I was like, "Wait a minute, I think I know this," and the logo came up. I was like so excited.
This is when Dean threw out all of his Ninja Turtles.
I was so jealous because
I was heavy into those toys.
My dad took my brother to go see it in theaters, but they said I was too young, and I had to wait for it to come out on VHS, which was like a whole like 6 months or something. I don't know. And then I saw it on VHS at home, and I remember I was terrified actually.
Yeah.
I feel like
I
back
remember
then
even
it was a
watching it
long
too.
wait time.
Like,
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
no, it's just it's stupid in hindsight. Like, I remember getting afraid of like getting like a late night snack and then thinking there's gonna be raptors in there. And even back then, I was thinking to myself, Nick, there are no raptors in the kitchen. You're okay.
Yeah, I remember the specific sequence that got me, and it was the death of Arnold and like finding his arm.
Mm-hmm.
Like that got me as a little kid. I was like, whoa, nope.
And then instant raptor jump scare.
Yeah.
Wearing his face. That's
Talking.
the home
Hello,
video
Dr.
release.
Say what again? Say what again?
Hold
I
on to your
dare ya.
butts.
Guess we all have them, right? Mm-hmm.
Butts and thumbs.
Steven, I don't think we should show the raptor's rectum. But it's part of the joke.
I have a guy slaving over CGI in the back room on this for days.
He's working on prosthetic raptor butts. They have to look fake enough to be the joke, but real enough to be passable.
Okay, Phil, shut it all down.
The one thing I've
Can you
always
make it
been
pucker?
We were going to stop motion the butts.
the one thing I've always been most disappointed with after all the years is like I've always expected, like when DVDs started to come out and they would have bonus features and behind the scenes and especially deleted scenes in all the movies. And then when Jurassic Park came out, I was really excited for that one the most because like, oh, what deleted scenes didn't get it into the film? And there's none. And I know for a fact there's at least a couple of scenes that are extended because like you see Ellie grab a plant, like a leaf on
In
their
the
way to the
trailer.
brachiosaur. Yeah, in the trailer.
Yeah.
And that's never shown in the movie. And like I know they exist, but they just don't have anything else. And this is one of those few movies where I feel everything that was storyboarded was actually shot. And the only things that was truly cut was the stuff that like the hurricane damages, and they never ended up shooting it. But
Right.
the behind the scenes and the making of showcase like an alternate ending, which I'm kind of glad didn't work out, but it does kind of suck because it would have meant that Muldoon would have lived like he does in the novel anyway, because originally the ending plays out exactly as it does. The raptor's about to pounce on, Alan and Ellie and the kids, and then just as it's about to pounce, it gets shotgunned in the face, and then the camera turns and we see Muldoon had survived, and he shoots the big one before it's able to jump and leap onto him. And that's when Spielberg decided, the T-Rex is the big star. It deserves to have its final scene. And that's when they changed the whole ending so that instead of Muldoon being the one to save Alan and the rest of the survivors, and it's actually just going to be the T-Rex coming in out of nowhere to kill the raptors, which I mean, it's kind of, I like the ending. I will never doubt it. But.
Like, it's cool. It's memorable. Also, that's got to be unfortunate to be like, hey, you're cast in this role and read the book and you're like, oh, I survive and I'm the hero of the whole thing. And they're like, oh, yeah, we got to get rid of that. You got to die earlier.
Sorry.
They should have him come in and shoot the raptors, saving the day, and then the T-Rex comes through and eats him, and then they run away.
Or
Or
maybe
maybe
there was some deleted
Thanks,
scenes.
Robert.
Maybe you find out he survives and he just helps open the helicopter doors for Hammond. And you're like, oh.
Clever boy.
He just is covered in blood, terrible laceration. Right this way, John.
Jenny, we
Right
don't have
before
any of
they
that Bluebell ice cream left. No? Okay, well, safe travels.
Right before they napalm the park to shit.
You ate it all. Okay, you ate it all by yourself.
I think it's amusing too, despite all this time going by and how important Jurassic Park is to modern day, and it's just it still holds the test of time, that they're still making sequels to this day. Like Jurassic Park or Jurassic World Rebirth comes out in the summer. I do wish that sometimes you can just let things be. I don't know. The new movie coming out, I really hope it's better than the World trilogy, but we'll see.
I think it's also interesting because you
I
have
hope it's worse.
other franchises that still are getting movies, but they're in things like there's sci-fi or there's something like that. This is the only thing that it's like, do you really have dinosaur competitor movies? Because you can decide, like, I don't want to watch Star Wars. There's plenty of other sci-fi things coming. Like, I'll watch Dune or something.
That's true.
If you love dinosaurs, you don't have an option. It's just wait for the next Jurassic Park, or that's it.
And then all the options that are available are like the D movies that pop out for horror.
Oh, you mean like the Invisible Velociraptor?
Velocipaster?
Or Velocipaster?
Velocipaster.
Yeah, but sci-fi originals, right? Dino Shark, Megalodon,
Shark-
Megalodon's not dinosaur.
Shocktopus.
Shark Dino.
Sharktopus.
Yeah, Shocktopus. I feel like there's gotta be
Sharks
more
on
dinosaur
ice.
movies.
Dinos on ice.
I feel like there was way more old black and white, like stop motion dinosaur movies, or like
Oh, yeah.
the ones where they like would find an iguana and like put a fin on it and be like, oh, it's a dinosaur now.
Just shoot it close.
Shoot it real close.
We have to. It's an iguana. It's very small.
Then we'll comp it in on the actors.
They need to have some kick in the pants for the Jurassic Park series. Like, there needs to be a big budget dinosaur adventure film that all of a sudden they're like, oh, okay, we should probably right the ship and not be asleep at the wheel on this thing. That's why Prehysteria by Full Moon Pictures needs to make a comeback.
What does?
Prehysteria.
Billy and the Clonosaurus.
I want a $350 million Prehysteria reboot.
I don't know. I think
We're back.
A dinosaur story.
Live action.
Yeah. Land Before Time.
It is worth reading the novel. Absolutely go and read the novel if you can. It's just as good as the movie, I feel, and it does take a much harsher turn toward thrilling and horror at times. Like the scene, like right off the bat, like you have like children being eaten by compies. Nedry's death is a lot gorier.
Detail.
Wu gets eviscerated right in front of everybody as the raptors are trying to get in.
By Nedry.
Nedry's the one eviscerating.
Oh, I thought you meant like
standing in front of
I
the
thought you meant the Raptors and Nedry eviscerate Wu.
Yeah, he was standing in front of the vending machine.
He returns. He's wearing the frill himself. I've claimed my spot.
You guys want anything salted? None my sweet salted.
If they're gonna keep making shit, I can't believe I'm saying this. I almost like go the Harry Potter route and like do a 3-episode, just remake the book as it's written, and just try that on HBO.
There was a Reddit post that someone talked about on doing like a prequel, and it's the lead up to it's just the construction of Jurassic Park and all of the problems that they had leading up to it, with John Hammond trying to figure out like the logistics of just doing all of this, the fallout with what's his name, James Cromwell, because that's canon now. And at least it would have made a lot more sense to it just gives him more purpose and story to talk about leading up to that point of release. And then the story ending when it's like, all right, we're ready for the tour. It'll even cover like the fallout of like the raptor breaking out of the enclosure, killing Joffrey. And then the series ending with him like, all right, we need to get people to sign off on the park. Who do you think we should get? And Hammond's like, I know a guy. And that's where they go and do it. But I mean, it would make a lot more sense to do something a lot more verbatim from the book. At least I feel like it would benefit from that, because it's stupid on how it's almost suffering the same way with Star Wars, and they're pushing the sequel trilogy, trying to throw all this new stuff out there, but their main marketing aspect is from the first movie. It's always the first movie. That's the thing that always sells the most. They have the whole Hammond collection, and they focused on all of the original toys, or like all the original cast, and those are the ones that sold crazy. And then all the later stuff, like no one wants Blue. They want the original Raptor from Jurassic Park, or the ones from the sequel, the second one, or even the third one, which has its own fan base now at this point. Enough time has passed, surprisingly enough. I don't hate the third one, but it is very
Of its time.
empty compared to the first two.
It's low. It's the third on the totem pole for me.
Yeah. I
They
think
should
I
do
would
an
rank
even
them
farther
almost
back
in sequential order.
prequel. Oh, go ahead.
No, I mean, I was saying just that I would rank them in sequential order, practically.
Yeah.
You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the order that I like them in most.
They should do an even farther prequel where the HBO series ends with a guy finding a piece of amber with a mosquito, and he's like, "John, I think I found something." And then you're like, "Wait."
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it's gonna go even further back, where it's gonna have the dinosaurs when they get trapped in the
I was gonna say, yeah, the ones that are cloned from the mosquitoes, like, what was their lives like? Let's
yeah.
see.
What's the day in the life of this guy?
I mean, literally in Dominion, they show you Rexy being killed.
Yeah.
Like, they show you that.
Oh.
That was one
Like
stupid
the
gripe.
one that was cloned.
That was one gripe that I had with the movie so much, that they keep trying to make them look as scientifically accurate as possible. I'm like, why? You don't have to do that. Don't give the dinosaurs feathers. You don't have to, because they're genetically modified creatures that were.
Yeah,
you
they're
don't know
mixed
what
with
they
frogs,
look like.
for God's sake.
Yeah, like
Use
you're
frog
literally
DNA.
making your own version of it. So what if the T-Rex was later discovered to have feathers? This one doesn't have feathers. Oh well, you know? And then like the paleontology scene is like laughing because they keep saying they're nerfing the Spinosaurus, because every single time new research is released, it goes further and further from what it looked like in Jurassic Park 3 to what it looks like today, and it looks nothing like it.
Man, these patch
Sorry.
updates are killing dinosaur.
It's like, oh, nerf Spinosaurus again. Jeez, really killing him. He was never really that
One-
OP to begin with.
Compy mains are really
One-
excited this season.
One thing I'll say on my enjoyment of the movie and the subsequent movies, less and less. I don't think it's just bias. I'm trying to be objective. I think it's the writing and the characters were just so likable and interesting. And I feel like as the movies went on, that just started to leave. I mean, I know Spielberg wasn't directing them anymore after the second one.
And Crichton wasn't writing them.
Yeah, no. I mean,
there was no
officially,
source material anymore.
Yeah.
he really only did the Lost World too because he was forced to. He didn't want to.
Mm.
But yeah, that's why I feel my enjoyment of them go. Besides the fact that it's just sequel syndrome. What can we do with these dinosaurs to keep it fresh? They're just made too modern day blockbustery. I don't like the modern day blockbuster. I like the 1993 blockbuster.
Mm. Well, I mean, I feel like something that we kind of lost as the movie series went on was the like core competency of the characters. Like in Jurassic Park, like bad things were happening, but at the character's core, everyone was pretty competent at what they were doing. Like they were making good decisions for what they had available. Like you never saw like Dr. Grant and you were like, oh man, I can't believe he did this. It was like, no, like in universe, the things he was doing made a lot of sense and he was good at it. Like the same with Laura Dern's character, even like John Hammond, like they were all good at what they did and it showed. But like as time went on, like the one of the reasons I hated the third movie so much was because it was like no one made a single good decision and no one was good at anything. It was just like, hey, I can't find my daughter. Okay, let's use all the money we have to charter a plane with like some rando guys we found who have guns. And then like we'll land the plane on the island and we'll find our daughter. It's like, oh no, there's dinosaurs here. Yeah, of course, you knew there were dinosaurs here. oh boy, we better leave. No, you can't leave. I'll stop you for leaving by blowing up the plane. Like what like
Yeah.
They didn't blow up the plane though.
didn't they? Well, it like
No.
crashes. They do something to stop him from taking off, and it crashes.
No, they went to get the fuck out, and then as they're taking off, the Spinosaurus came out of the forest, and they clipped it, and it caused the plane to crash afterward.
Yeah, but the guy runs out in front of the plane when it's trying to leave.
Oh, because
Oh,
he
because he
wanted
doesn't
to,
want him to leave him.
yeah. I mean, that was I think the only time where it's like, what's the point of hiring an expert if we're not going to listen to his advice? I thought that was kind of really nail on the head with that one. But even then, it was like too little, too late at that time.
Also, I think because every movie needs to try to one-up itself with what it's showing, at this point, they're having to get into all these like genetically altered monster dinosaurs and things like that, that it's like diminishing returns that I don't really care that much anymore, because it's like, okay, if you're just going to make it bigger and scarier, then I'm just going to go watch Godzilla vs. Kong. Like, at that point, it's like, what's the point of me watching the dinosaur movie if most of these aren't dinosaurs now?
So you're not on board
Rancors.
with the Rancor Xenomorph T-Rex hybrid that's going to be in the new one?
Oh. Black Widow versus the Rancor.
I mean, no offense, but like they can gene splice dinosaurs as much as they want, but nothing's gonna beat Mecha King Ghidorah. Like, if you want to see spectacle monster,
that's the crossover we need.
You want spectacle monster. Nothing's gonna beat the half mechanical 3-headed golden dragon that shoots lightning out of its mouth.
No,
I'm sorry.
I want King Kong off the top rope fighting any dinosaur from the Jurassic World series.
Can we also cross it over with Fast and the Furious, please?
Family.
Family.
Godzilla just wants his family.
Dominic Toretto and King Kong just popping a Corona at the end of the film. Hey, welcome to the cookout.
You see that the new Predator movie might be crossing over Independence Day?
Oh, I saw. Yeah, isn't there a skull or something in that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's probably just a cheeky little reference, I'd imagine.
So
I mean, that's what the Xenomorph was. And then look what happened.
Yeah, Dean, look what happened.
Nothing good.
We got those two movies. And a good comic and game series, though.
Yeah.
Apparently the new Predator is like a young Yautja, and like they turn more into what we're used to as they get older.
Dean, bonus points for you knowing what they are.
Yeah, baby.
It is kind of cool of being able to see a movie that seems to be more in their lore and follow more of like a coming of age tale for what, like directly following Prey. We get a similar tale, but it's from their side.
I like the trailer too had
we get hunted too.
Like that chanting thing in the background. I think that's the Yautja actually chanting it, and it's not just like some human thing.
I actually think, honestly, I think it's taken from the Who, the HU.
Yeah.
That Mongolian band. I think they're the Wolf Totem. Yeah. I think it's like literally from the song.
Oh, their stuff's so good.
Now, I thought it was going to be the da 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 da. The what was it? The Vuvuzela.
Da 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 da.
Oh.
No, but I maybe that might be the feeling they're trying to create, Nick. But I think in actuality, it's actually that song,
which is
cool. Like mixed with whatever. It's like mixed with other music.
I like how they used them in the Star Wars game because they sounded alien enough. Like, yeah, this will work. Just no, don't change the lyrics. Yeah. They play a Who song in the start of, I think, the first game.
So aside from the Predator Badlands movie, did we talk about that? It's completely aside from Jurassic Park. Did we talk about that they're doing the other animated, like CGI Love, Death, Robots style of
the anthology?
Yeah, the Predator, where it's going to be predators all throughout history going after like the samurai and going after like pilots in like World War I and going after
this
like...
is real?
Yeah.
Assassinated Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, it's an anthology series that's going to be coming out soon.
That's weird,
and we get
all
season
I ever
4
keep seeing is like Alien Earth, and I have no interest in that because they don't. There's like 50 teaser trailers that tell you nothing, But then like Predator Badlands has like a full blown trailer, and that comes out even further away than the Alien show, which I don't get. I haven't even seen a single thing about the Predator show.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's called Killer of Killers.
Trying to get back on subject, at least the Jurassic Park show. Dean, did you see the new season? Did we see the new season?
I did watch it. Yes. Yeah.
I don't
watched
remember.
it pretty quick.
That's when
quickly.
Brooklyn comes back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
The show is very much meant for kids, and I gave it bonus points because the first 3 seasons is very, very much meant for children. All of the danger that the kids go through, there's zero threat because none of them are ever going to die. And then when the series ended, they immediately started a new one where it's like flash forward like 5 years, and all the kids are a little bit older now, like late teens, early 20s kind of thing. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be kind of cool. Maybe they're going to give them a little bit more danger and dire. And they pulled like the rug out from you because they actually killed off one of the main characters from a dino attack. I'm like, oh wow, they're actually doing this. This is cool. And then they teased at the very end of the first season that she's actually alive. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Then they kill her again.
But she did lose her arm
really gruesomely in front of the rest of the kids,
which was interesting because you never see that in a kids show. Because it very much reminds me of like How to Train Your Dragon level of danger.
How to Train Your T-Rex. Oh yeah, like Ray Arnold, they found her arm and assumed, oh, she's dead. They never saw her body.
Yeah.
And then they find a second arm, and then they find a leg. She's still alive.
She's quadriplegic.
The show wasn't bad. The first few seasons were okay because I felt like it did kind of like fill in some of the gaps between the world movies because they get stuck on the original island for the first 2 seasons, and it's just them trying to survive now that everything is loose. And it was okay.
Boy, it's pretty formulaic though.
Yeah, extremely. Like every single time one of the kids are in somewhat danger, like, oh no, the hiccup looking kid ended up falling from the train. I wonder if he's dead. Of course he's not. He survived. But I like how he kind of had a glow up afterward, and he went from like the sickly nerdy kid to like, the survivor man, and he's the only one that's qualified to be on that island the whole time.
He's really sexy. I have a poster of him now on my wall.
He very much long bottomed.
Long bottoming as a verb.
So,
but I know what you mean.
Also staying on topic with upcoming stuff, I will mention the new season of Love, Death, Robots comes out May 15th, and there is one short of the anthology called The Scream of the Tyrannosaur, where it takes place on like some alien space world where people have gladiator battles with dinosaurs. So, dinosaurs.
Sick.
So did the dinosaurs evolve there too, or did they take the dinosaurs from Earth and back to their home planet?
I think at the end we're going to find out that they never left Earth. You blew
Statue
it
of
up.
Liberty's like in the ocean out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been my absolute favorite, and it's gotten to the point where maybe I'll watch it once a year because I've seen it so many times that it's ingrained into my personality. Half my room is decorated in Jurassic Park collectibles or merchandise or something or other.
Like you don't need to turn it on at that point. It's just like if you let your brain go into rest mode, it idles and just starts playing Jurassic Park.
Pretty much. I still like
screensaver.
Deep down, I've always wanted to like reenact the whole movie, be it animated or voiceover or something, but I think it would just be fun to do. I just don't have a reason to actually do it.
We'll do a
Swede.
We'll do a
Swede.
A 5-part broken out live script read with sound effects of Jurassic Park. And then get sued.
Or we make our own audiobook recording, like complete with sound effects and all the characters.
That's the one.
Not just one person reading it.
Yeah.
I'd do it. I would do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Especially with the sound effects. Hell yeah. The Star Wars audiobooks like spoiled me with that because no other audiobooks really do that. So the fact that like the Star Wars ones have sound effects added in, which is like really kind of helps it more immersive. To have the Jurassic Park one do the same thing, and hell yeah.
Yeah, like I was listening to some of my audiobooks. I have like the um Welcome to Lovecraft or like Ender's Game or things like that, where they have full audio casts. And like at this point, this isn't an audiobook. You're just reading the book, but it's a full audio play of just like 15 actors.
That would I know it probably obviously does cost more money, but that would probably make me try out audiobooks more if there were more like plays like that.
We can't thank you enough for coming along for this revisit of Jurassic Park. If you like what you've heard, please drop a review and rating and subscribe to us on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever else you get your podcasts to help us out. You can find us over on YouTube at the Screen Refresh Network, and you can also find us on Instagram at Screen Refresh. You can also shoot us an email at screenrefresh@gmail.com or join us on our Discord. We'd love to chat with you there. So for Tim, David, me, Nick, and Dean, you take care of yourself, and you can catch us next on Rule of Thirds, airing every third Monday of the month, and our sister podcast, Don't Open This Podcast, every second and fourth Monday of the month. I bring the scientists, you bring a rock star.